Gonna do it again, ladies and gentlemen. In the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn, a player who, of course, has been considered potentially one of the greatest of all time. For Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Rogue. And in the bottom left, just saw him get a 2-0 over Dark in his previous matchup. Looks pretty dang good in TVZ still. From Team NV, it's Maru. Yeah, Rogue. Rogue versus Maru. It is, this is a matchup that has both given some of the best, closest, most interesting TVZ games we've ever seen, and also been a complete stomp that are just no fun to watch because it's Rogue just dominating. And it's never really the other way. There was one best of 3 that Rogue and Maru played where Rogue was having a real down period in GSL and Maru 2-0'd him, and it didn't even look close. But usually how it goes, it's either super close games that are really, really intense, go to the late game, it's super awesome, or it is one of these players just completely dominating. We saw it in the GSL finals where Rogue just completely dominated Maru, just went for the exact same build pretty much every single game, and Maru did not have an answer to it. And so, I mean, it's a bit worrying because it really does feel like between these two players, again, they used to be teammates, they used to practice with each other so much, but that Rogue and Maru, it's a matchup that I always get nervous, especially casting. But I always know it's going to be close because, again, they face off so much. These two players have played so many series against each other. You know, even looking back recently, as I kind of mentioned I talked about it in the Rogue, or in the Maru Dark series, but Maru, won Asus Rock 2, and he won that getting a 4-2 over Rogue. And those are really close, really interesting games. It was a bit cheesy here and there that seemed a bit strange, a bit weird, but for the most part, those games were really awesome. And we got one of the closest and longest games that we've seen all year. One of the best games on Romanticide. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this best of 3 ends up going. Because of course, the winner of this does go on to that winner's final. The loser is knocked down to the lower bracket, where they will be starting in the lower bracket, I believe round 7, which is for the lower bracket pretty much is the quarterfinals. You go back around essentially when you're in the loser's bracket, so you'll have to play 2 more best of 3s in that lower bracket. Sorry, I'm just taking a drink of water. But as we get on into it, Blackburn. Blackburn's a map that I'm always surprised when it gets through vetoes. Even on the new map pool, I'm always surprised when it gets through vetoes. I know players are more comfortable on it. I know that people are more accustomed to it and that they are used to this map, and so that's why they end up probably picking it. But it is a map that is definitely, it's had its ups and downs, and a lot of players kind of view it as being a bit, I would say probably a bit Zerg favored. There's not a lot of angles to attack, especially in TVZ at least. Usually I would say this map is Terran favored, especially in TVP, but in TVZ it always feels like the Zerg does have a little bit of an a little bit of an edge, and that the reason is the extremely short rush distance, third to third. Zerg can even make more use of this than the Terran can. You have a lot of positions with these rocks, with high ground, especially with using that to your advantage when you're in the late game with Brood Lords, we've seen players do. And then, even on top of that, there's so much wide open space. And while it is good, for splitting as the Terran, it is very easy for the Zerg, especially in the middle of the map, to get surrounds, to collapse onto units. And when you're actually trying to push as the Terran, you don't have a lot of attack paths. You have, at the start of the game, pretty much 2 into the first 3 bases. We'll count this as 1. Count this spot that we're looking at right now as 1. And so, for the Zerg, it's very easy to get up to 4 bases. Holding the 4 bases is a different story, but getting up to them is pretty easy, as we do have Maru with a little bit of an early game push here. This is not, you know, the same as we've seen before, where he's going to be trying to do incredible damage, but it is going to be with Hellbats, it is going to be with Marines. Maru's going to be seeing how much he can get done. Right now, actually, though, it's only 16 lings for Rogue. And it's not a whole lot of army here. Rogue is going to try and be setting up those lings along the flank to go for a surround. Already you have Hellbats moving into position, though. Maru feeds up the Zerglings, but already have a lot of the Hellbats being low, as we have the Widowmine drop moving on in. Queen's getting extremely low. Also have this Liberator, gets 5 kills on the back of it. As none of the Queens do end up dying, transfusions come down. Liberator is going to survive, though, now move its way to the 3rd base, as you have another Widowmine being dropped. Only 1 worker kill. And Maru continuing now to push. Hellbats and Marines not able to get a ton of damage done. With the re-siege of the Liberator, should be able to just focus down workers here. The Queens as well, actually. One Queen will go down. Another one will take a little bit of damage, as you have this Widowmine just being really annoying for Maru. The others have, I believe, been cleaned up, yeah. Maru, you know, commits early there for some pressure. Gets 5 workers. It's decent. You get 4, of course, with the Liberator. You get 1 with the Widowmines. But it's not the best trade there, especially with the Liberator going down. I mean, looking at it, Maru actually was at a negative trade there. You know, losing Medivacs, losing the Liberator, all of the Widowmines go down. Lost quite a few Marines. Not the best trade for Maru, and that's surprising because that was a very, very kind of well-timed out attack from 3 angles, and Rogue handles it perfectly, actually. Like, even though it was so kind of, you know, everything happened at once. Even though there was so much going on for Maru, you didn't see Rogue take damage. It just didn't happen. Rogue handled that as well as you probably could hope to as a Zerg, and now is going to be going for a Zerg run by on into this 3rd. There are no units here for Maru that are ready. He's going to be losing a few SCVs. I do not believe these players have put Game Heart onto this map, so we are going to be going with nothing telling me when the upgrades are finishing up. I'll have to look at the production tab. How awful. But we are going to be seeing Maru push. Does have 1-1 done, or finishing up right about now. Has Stim and Combat Shields. Going to be finishing along with this small little push. Rogue, though, is continuing to go for this counterattack. Doesn't want to face this little bit of army straight up. Is going to be trying to see how much damage he can get done. There's a lot of Hellions here, though. I don't know if this is a good trade to go for, especially with the Morph on into Hellbats. Rogue gonna have to get on out. Still streaming more lings across the map, though. They have 1-1. Has a Baneling nest that he can go into. Gonna look to try and dive on into the natural. Maru doesn't lift the wall. Lings on into the base. We'll see how much damage gets done. Maru on the other side. It's Marines against Queens. The Queens are gonna be able to fight it, but these lings are getting so much damage done already. Look at that worker count fall. 52 workers now for Maru. 51. Loses 20. That's 60 more workers killed there in this attack. The 3rd base. Burrowed Banelings. Oh my, Rogue. This is actually such a well played out early game. Burrowed lings all around. Just gonna be annoying. This is so sick. The Banelings do go off. 5 more worker kills. Rogue is... This is actually an impeccable early game from Rogue. This is so well done right now. I mean, 2-2 on the way. More Lings and Banes. Maru, he's at 57 workers on 3 bases, sure, but you still have Rogue being annoying. You've had scans that have had to be used for these Burrowed Lings. Another one's still there, though. This little army up the top side of the map is going to get cleaned up, so Maru's going to try and swing in at the bottom. Banelings are still morphing. This might be the chance to stim on in. The Banelings aren't done. Maru cleans up the Lings. Now the Widowmine looking to fire, but the pickup, the shot, oh, it's dragged onto the medevac. Oh, Rogue. Oh, you're glorious. That is such a beautiful play. Maru, the push is stopped. I mean, imagine if you had 2 full medevacs there into the main base. But Rogue, a complete handle on this early game. So well done. Behind it, Maru has gone back up to 67 workers, does have +2/+2 on the way for himself, but it's going to be a little while until that is ready. drilling claws as well for the Widow Mines, and you have seen Terrans in the past. What they do is as soon as drilling claws is done, actually start going for Widow Mine drops again, just because you have that speed bro. And oh, Maru's being so annoying right now. Actually, so many workers going down. This little small group of Marines, but on the other side, it's Rogue committing on in. A pickup onto the Marines. They have to get away. A good Widow Mine hit though. Maru evening out the supplies, but now it is Ling Bane running into the natural. Oh, Banelings looking for connections onto the workers. They're not going to be able to find them at the third base. What's going on? Well, it's just Marines that have been dropped. They've been cleaned up. Maru, it looks like Rogue is starting to tear him apart. The force on the other side has been cleaned up. The natural is finally clear. The main base is clear, but you still have these Lings at the third. It will finally be killed. But Maru's lost 48 workers this game. 48 workers. And it's incredible that Maru is still at 54, considering that. It's incredible that Maru is still at 64, or 54. But he is now so far behind Rogue, who's already getting his Hydralisk transition ready. He's already sitting fairly comfortable right now on 5 bases. Maru is just now finally establishing his 4th. +2/+2 is done for Maru. I mean, but the big thing is the army. Maru's lost so much army. And usually Maru's the player who's, he loses workers, but he keeps his army alive and he continues to trade efficiently with it. That hasn't been the case this game. Rogue has actually been collapsing on in with the Baneling hits, been getting so much damage done to Maru's units. It's going to be really hard for Maru to press across the map, because look at it. There's so much for Rogue. Now you have Hydralisks on the map. You have you have Rogue who's going to be able to max out soon. Rogue who's sitting at 100 army supply now. 179 supply in total. 30 ahead of Maru on even upgrades. +2/+2 right now for both players. But you have the ranged attack coming through here. Oh, the Lings try and drag the Widow Mine shots. They're not going to be able to successfully, but there we go. Rogue gets the Widow Mine shot onto the bio, and even if it wasn't intentional, brings the Lings forward, runs them through the army of Maru to make sure that happens. So, these trades from Rogue are just so good. Right now, he's sitting on a gold base. He's sitting on 5 bases. He can start to deny the mining here, even with the tank there. Hydras are able to at least poke away. Maru's stimming on forward. Oh, this is dangerous. The burrow. Oh, the Widow Mines aren't even going to go off. They just get killed. Maru, he's kiting back for his life right now. But the Lurker Den is on the way for Rogue. The Hydralisk upgrades are almost finished. 6 base. Finishing up here soon. The supplies are finally evening out though. Maru fighting right now just to try and really get back into a good position. Has to be so careful. Rogue's looking to chase him down. Widow Mine doesn't go off. There's a lot of army and those medevacs finally going to be dropped down. Maru finally has a large enough army to fight. He's approached the same army supply sitting at 104 to 106. Actually, a lot of that goes down there, I think. Rogue might have exploded some Banelings onto the rocks. Not gonna say that's what happened, but his army supply did drop. Now you have Maru who's gonna be looking for a push. And you find it though, Rogue. Looking for a surround. Rogue coming in from 2 angles. This is so dangerous. There's so much Ling Bane. The Widow Mine shots are good though. They get a lot of damage done, but still Maru's army is falling apart. Lurker upgrades coming through, +2 ranged attacks. And as long as Rogue is continuing to at least trade, he can continue to get more units. He can get ready for this transition and eventually add on those Lurkers, and that's where this game gets dangerous. Is again, Rogue is constantly setting up these surrounds, these little angles. That is a good Widow Mine hit though. Another one onto the Hydralisks. Maru's stimming forward. Try and clear up some creep. Does have a lot of Widow Mines on the map. Currently producing 3 at a time. 2 factories. Here we go. Widow Mine hits. Decent to start off. More looking to come down. Another good one comes down, but oh, the Lurker flank. Maru should be able to clean it up, and he's fighting at the front as well. Maru fighting on 2 fronts. Should be able to win it. Finally, the bio trading through. Finally, a good trade comes out for Maru. He's going to be able to push down the gold base. He's going to be able to stop the mining there. And as soon as +3 finishes up, there's going to be even more push potential here from Maru, but he has to be so careful. This army is so battered and bruised. He doesn't have enough medevacs to support it, and now you're looking at a Ling run by here from Rogue. Should be able to catch off the reinforcements. I mean, it forces Maru back to his bases. And Maru's upgrades are out of sync here. Actually, the +3 wasn't started until this +1 is almost finished up. Maru pushing into the top right. There's already lurkers though. Maru doesn't have ghosts. I mean, the Widowmine hits are nice, but lurkers are out. Already 5 on the map. More can be made. And oh, I love these Zerglings burrowed, trying to get vision. Rogue's just being so cool with these moves. As Bio looking to fight, but all the Lings surround. There's so much from Rogue. All of the Bio gets surrounded. It has to be picked up. But men are left behind. An Adrenal Gland's on the way now to help these Lings trade even better. +3/+3 for the Lurkers and the Hydralisks. Maru, he's pushing across the map, but this is all Maru has. I mean, the issue for Maru is right now, he's on 4 bases and he can't expand. Maru has to try and get damage done with this 4-base army, because if he can't, there's no transition for Maru. He hasn't started a Ghost Academy. He doesn't have what he needs to deal with a large amount of Lurkers. It's just Marine, Marauder, Widowmine, Medevac, and he's gonna try and make it work, but it's so hard to against these Lurkers. And this is the issue right now for Maru, is he just doesn't have what he needs. The Ling run by catches so many more workers. And Maru has just been losing workers all game. 58 lost in total. This drop into the main though can get some damage done. Lurkers are a little bit late to the party. Finally gonna burrow on down. Maru has to pick on up and get out. Immediately gonna try and go down here, but yeah, Lurkers already in position. The Ling run by, the burrow on the Lings. Again, Rogue just being, these little moves. Just making sure that Maru never feels comfortable. And again, even though Maru's establishing this 5th, he doesn't have what he needs to properly do damage. He just doesn't. And to really defend well, he's trying to find, gaps across the map, and he should finally find one here to the top right. There are no Lurkers here, but at the same time, Rogue, it's a Nidus Worm on into the main base. The Lings on burrow, they're gonna get even more damage. Maru, you have to make it work with this army, but do you have what you need? It's Ling run-bys absolutely everywhere. Into the 5th, into the 3rd, they should be able to get cleaned up. But now Rogue has finally moved all of his units on over to this top right side. You're not going to be able to get damage here as Maru. His Lurkers have arrived. The Lings are here. The burrows go down though. Widowmine shots are decent enough, but it's Lurkers in the main. The entire main base is falling apart. Lurkers completely ripping it to shreds. They are stranded though. Marauders get rid of the Nidus Worm, but at the other side, the army getting collapsed on. Maru does manage to pick it up. 163 supply right now to 180. Maru trying to fight, trying to get rid of these Lurkers, but it's just Marauders. He's dropping on top of them. Maru's trying desperately to clear up this main base, but he just can't. There's too much. GG. Rogue takes game 1. In the bottom left-hand corner. Takes that first game. Pretty, I would say pretty impeccable TVZ in that last match. Pretty impeccable. From Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Rogue. And the top right, looked good, but was just kind of slowly bled out. Constant Ling run-bys, constant attacks. Was not able to keep up with the speed of his opponent, and that's not something that you hear often. Definitely not something that you hear often from Team NV, ladies and gentlemen. It's Maru. It's Mary. Woo. But yeah, Rogue looked so good in that last game. I think up to the 8-minute mark, there's not many complaints you can have about how Rogue played that game. It took almost no damage from the early 3-pronged harass. Was able to constantly get damage with Ling run-bys. Like, that was almost a perfect early game for Rogue. Had he lost, I would say, 2 less workers to that Liberator, I would pretty much call that a perfect early game for Rogue in that last game. And it just goes to show how good Rogue is. I mean, even with Maru trying to pull out all those tricks, committed a Liberator, Widow Mines with a Medevac, with Hellbats and Marines across the map, still only got 5 drones. Rogue defended it beautifully, got counterattack damage afterwards. And that was really where it kind of started to snowball for Rogue. When you're able to defend that well against so many tools that are being thrown at you, you're just gonna have an advantage. You're gonna have more workers. You're gonna have more units, especially when you defend it as well as he did. And he took full advantage of that. And Maru, kind of being a bit sloppy in a few places. Definitely the attention, when his attention was elsewhere, Rogue just making a small little move. And it was so well played. Of course, towards the mid game, started to finally even out, but at that point, it was a bit too late. And Rogue just had so much to work with. And we're on to 2000 Atmospheres. 2000 Atmospheres is a map that I would say is a bit more standard and even than Blackbird. Definitely, we've gotten our fair share of absolutely amazing TVZs on this map. You've seen everything from, Rogue versus Maru to Serral versus Beyond Serral versus Clem. This map has really delivered in some great TVZs. I remember DRG, Dongri-gu versus Dream was actually an incredible TVZ that I saw on this map in GSL. And even looking at more recently, there was a really awesome TVZ between Ragnarok and Dream on this map. It didn't end up mattering in that World Team League match, but there's just something about 2000 Atmospheres that brings out the best in people, and they play absolutely stellar on it. Now, we do have a Roach Warren coming down here for Rogue at the 3-minute and 30 mark. A bit earlier than perhaps your regular Roach Warren. Along with 3 gases. Rogue. We'll see if he's going to be using this for something aggressive. I have to imagine he will be. That feels extremely early. We'll see. There's a lot of money right now in the bank for Rogue. He's not spending a lot. You can see it starting to kind of build up. Larva being saved. Roach Warren finishes, and there we go. 7 roaches on the way. Rogue, he's going to look to get aggressive early on in this game. And this actually might work really well. Had Rogue scouted what the build was for Maru? That's my question. No, Rogue has no idea. Rogue, I think, has just blind countered Maru's build. This is actually horrible for Maru. Maru's going for the exact same build as last game, where it's Hellbats and Marines, but there's roaches out. And this is actually brutal. This is really brutal right now for Maru. He's just going to have to pull back and try and walk out. And again, I don't know if... Oh, and a Ling run by makes it into the main. Okay, there are Hellions here, but still, this is so annoying. We'll be able to clean up the legs, but you just now have Rogue transition this across the map, and I really don't think Rogue had actually seen anything. Rogue, I don't think he knew that this was going to be a Hellbat attack. Just completely guesses, and manages to find the damage, manages to find the response now across the map. Look at what is coming through for Rogue. What does Maru have to defend? It's not a lot. I don't see how you hold this in Maru. Banshee is out. The Banshee is the only way that you hold this right now, and that Banshee has to be focused, of course, onto the Ravagers. Those are the main threat right now. It's going to be done so. Second Banshee is on the way with cloaking. Maru's had to pull his workers away. Armory is going to go down. We'll be able to push it back though. And again, with that Roachborn for Rogue, I have to imagine either Rogue was planning to go for this push regardless. This was what Rogue wanted to do in this game, or he brought his Overlord along the backside of his base and actually ended up seeing the armory and knew that it was going to be a Hellbat attack from Maru, gets the roaches out, goes for a counterattack, and does find some incredible damage so far. trading even is so good for the Zerg right now. So you do have Maru starting up Stim. 4 more barracks on the way. Gonna be getting up to 5 barracks on, of course, 2 base. Does have the 3rd racks, or the 3rd CC that it's gonna be building, but it's gonna be Maru gonna be looking for some pretty aggressive pressure off the back of this. You know, going up to 5 racks, gonna be looking to see if he can just pressure across the map with a lot of bio. Now you do have the Banshee trying to poke in, but Queen's already in position with a Spore Crawler. 2 drones do go down. More in the main actually should be able to fall. Queen's not in position. 4 go down. That's about it. Maru has to be careful there. Almost loses the Banshee. We have a Spire on the way for Rogue. Has been unscouted thus far. Ooh, Banshee goes down. 5 worker kills here for Maru. Loses the Banshee though. And you have the Spire for Rogue, and this is a style, you know, the Lingbane Mutalisk style has kind of fallen out of favor recently, but Rogue is still so good with it. It is still his bread and butter. Every time he pulls it out, it looks completely dominant. Especially against a player who's gone for early Hellbats. Rogue has all the lenience in the world to go for this. 8 Mutalisks on the way. They're gonna be trying to get across the map, and this is where it gets very dangerous right now for Maru. But again, I mean, it just does not feel like this opening has gone his way. Rogue just has too good a read on the early game, and Maru's been staking a lot on getting early damage done. And again, with the Hellbat attacks, the reason why people just don't like them is because when they get cleaned up, you committed to an armory that's 150 minerals, 100 gas. You committed to a lot more Hellions than you usually would. But not only that, you usually will lose them. Hellbats do not retreat. Hellbats are so slow, they cannot retreat well. And so you're gonna pretty much end up losing them every time. It gives up so much map pressure to the Zerg if you do end up doing damage with it. It gives up so much, I mean, just time for them to do whatever they want. And now you have these Mutalisks making their way in onto the main base. 11 Mutalisks done. The missile turret will finish in time, and the repair is gonna try and come on through. They do manage to, but oh, so many workers falling. This is absolutely brutal. 19 SCVs fall, even more gonna go down. The main mineral line is cleaned up. Rogue. No one expects the Mutalisks. No one expects them. 25 workers. On top of the 5 that were lost before. Oh, and the Banshee gets sniped. Maru has nothing. Maru can't do anything on the map now. Again, he went for the early attack. It got completely destroyed. Got completely wrecked. He even took damage on the other side. And now, I mean, Maru just has to sit back. Maru has to sit back and hope that he can out-macro Rogue, which is never a situation you want to be in. Rogue's macro is so good. His late-game TVZ is so good. And you just see, I mean, setting up these, again, Rogue just setting these up. Baneling run by. He's going to wait. He's going to sit there. Doesn't want to go yet. He knows Maru's not out on the map, so going in with that would be rather dumb. Maru would probably be able to pull away, but even now, the missile turret wasn't done. More workers go down. And now you have Link streaming across the map. Rogue's gonna pull the trigger. He's up 50 supply. He can absolutely go for this. Gonna try and at least set the 4th base. It gets canceled. Units are brought in though by Maru. He's gonna be able to defend, but the Baneling run by. 42 workers in total. Again, unfortunately, no game heart on this lobby. +2/+2 is going to be on the way for Maru alongside Drilling Claws, but he's just in such a dire situation right now. 60 supply down against Rogue, who's on 5 bases. Researching his 2/2, Infestation Pit on the way, and Burrow. I mean, Rogue has the whole map under his control right now. He's done so much damage. He's been so successful in this early game. This is absolutely crazy. Oh, Widow Mines. Oh. Rogue too good though. The Focus Fire too good. Managed to get rid of the Widow Mines. There was a real, almost had a heart attack there. 2 Widow Mine shots would clean up a good chunk of those mutas. But still, you have Thors coming out. These Thors aren't gonna have any upgrades though. No vehicle weapons. Mars doesn't have the gas to go for it, really. is finally going to start it up now, but you're not going to really have that +2 in time. And +2 on the Thors allows them to 2-shot Mutas. One volley. Bang bang. Of the AoE missiles. And that kills a Mutalisk. But Maru's not going to have that for a very, very long while now. Already started up on his +3 attack. Maru, I mean, pretty much hoping that, again, he can get up into a strong enough army to fight Rogue head on. Because right now, Rogue has had the whole map to himself. Rogue is going to be taking a 6 base. It's just a massive amount of Ling Bane. And Maru has been able to, you know, equal that. But Maru is only now equaling that using all of his money. Rogue has a bank built up. Rogue, even if he takes, you know, even if they trade evenly, they both clear each other's armies out, Rogue can just rebuild. And right now, Rogue, he's looking for it from 2 angles. He's going on in. So many Banelings rolling their way through. The first flank is cleaned up, though. Maru actually takes an incredible trade at the start of this, but a lot of SCVs might be able to go down. No, they pull away. The remax immediately. 76 Lings from Rogue. But those are the kinds of trades that Maru needs, even though he lost a lot of units. He needs to trade like that. He needs to get rid of the army from Rogue, but it's so hard. The Remax comes out. I mean, Rogue's on 88 workers. Rogue already has a bank to work with, and it's just going to be more Banelings being morphed. Ultralisk Den, and Ultralisk Cavern, sorry, on the way. Adrenal Glands, +2 for these mutas. Maru has +3 on the way, and if he gets it, it will allow him to fight so much better, but is he going to have the time to? Rogue's just looking to go for another attack. Rogue knows he's maxed out. He knows he has the money. Does he have the gas is the real question. Probably not, but he has the minerals as here we go, going on in. It's not an efficient trade to start so far for Rogue, but the rest of the Banes are going to come on through. They're going to clean up the SCVs. The Widow Mines don't get the hits they need. Maru just dropping in supply. And now the Mutalisk is going to go on in. They're going to be able to find even more damage. Maru, I mean, it feels like this game was doomed from the start. Rogue just trading so well. He's killed 83 SCVs. That's insanity. Insanity that he's killed 83 SCVs. In both these games, he's killed an insane amount of workers. Rogue has been absolutely merciless with run-bys, with counterattacks, with just pressure all across the map, and now he's going in once again. Lings first, and then the Banelings. He has enough to be able to absorb the Widowmine hits. Maru has to bring everything over. Does manage to push it back, but now, once again, you're going to be having these Mutalisks pushing on in, clearing up the Widowmines. There's so much creep all over the map. Rogue's bank has diminished, but Rogue also has Ultralisks on the way. There's going to be 2 Ultralisks with chitinous plating, with +3/+3, that are going to be on the map. Or sorry, only +3 attack. Yeah, +3/+3. They have the armor upgrade through as well. Armor and attack upgrades coming through. And once those Ultralisks are here, there's so much more tankiness in this army. Oh, Rogue! Rogue! Oh! Takes a massive hit, but doesn't matter. He's counterattacking on the other side. The base should go down. If not the, and the workers as well. Maru is pushing across the map. The Mutalisks are going to go back in. A lot of them are going down, but doesn't matter. I mean, Maru's even out the supplies. No, GG, it's not enough. Rogue gets the 2-0.